In this video, we'll determine LM curve using money demand schedule. But before that, we need to understand how do we measure its slope. So LM slope. Now, if you recall, while studying IS slope, we had two determinants, right? One was G and one was B. Let's not talk about G right now. Let's just talk about B. Now, where did this B come from? From investment function, which was this, right? So because B was measuring this responsiveness, so we took it as a determinant of IS slope. Similarly, while talking about LM slope, we talked about MD, which is KY minus HI. Over here we have two factors or two variables that are helping us determine or measure the responsiveness, right? So we are going to consider both in order to determine the slope. It's going to be K by H, and this is your LM slope. Now why are we dividing it by H? We are dividing it by H because of the inverse relation between MD and I. Okay, so H will always have a negative relation. Why? Because as money demand will increase, your when interest rate will increase, your money demand will decrease, right? So there's an inverse relation. To record that, it will always be negative, and that is why it is also negatively related to MD. So we have K by H. Now let's use our graphs in order to derive LM curve. Now we have our money demand schedule on right hand side and left hand side, and LM schedule on right hand side, right? Now our x-axis of money demand shows L, right? And our y-axis shows I. Similarly, on our LM schedule, our y-axis shows I and x-axis shows y, which is output, just like your IS curve. Now, since I and L are negatively related, so it will have this downward sloping graph, like this, right? So L1 is equal to KY1 minus HI. Keeping your interest rate constant, we have L2 is equal to KY2 minus HI. If you don't remember, then it basically shows that while interest rate is constant, your money demand can only increase when your income will increase, right? Now we are introducing another line, which is money supply over here. Oh boy, this money supply, right? This is your money supply. Now how do we represent money supply? Yes. Now if you see, then this is our first equilibrium, which is equilibrium 1, because MD is equal to MS at these 2 points. So this is our E2. Now let's see what causes this change. Yeah. So at this interest rate, which was I1, we had equilibrium IE1, and as equilibrium increased, our interest rate increased. Now let us see how and why it happened. See, at this E1, initially your money demand was equal to money supply, everything went good, and suddenly when your income increased, keeping your interest rate constant, when your income increased, you'll start demanding more money. So this will shift rightwards. Makes sense? It comes over here. But at this point, say it's the star, at star we see that our money demand is more than money supply, right? So what government does is they start to increase interest rate. Now as interest rate will increase, your money demand will decrease. So we came back on this equilibrium, but now our interest rate increased. You see? Now as your interest rate will increase, you'll start to demand more, and once you attain this point, you are here at E2, where again your equilibrium is attained, which is money demand is equal to money supply, right? Now let us see how it is impacting our LM curve. Over here, our I2 is greater than I1, right? So again, I2, this is our I2, and this is our I1. Unlike IS curve, I1 is smaller and I2 is larger. So if we join these, we continue these. I'm so sorry, let's erase this right now. Yeah. So if we extend these lines, we see that at I2, our income is Y2, right? Because after all, it's the same curve. So at I2 we have our output Y2. So if this is Y1, this will be Y2. So I1 and Y2 over here. Similarly, I1 and Y1 over here. So we get a positive slope over here, positive curve. Why? Because in money market, our interest rates and output are directly related, which means increase in interest rate will end up increasing your output in the economy, right? Now in our next video, we'll see what causes it to shift and rotate. Thank you.